Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here, back at it again with another very interesting and slightly unique idea for a set of stories. What is the best character name you've ever come up with? Now, if you have a character name you'd like to share and maybe a small backstory to boot, you can leave it down in the comments below or fire it off on our subreddit r/MrRipper. I just want to hear the cool names you guys and gals have created, and maybe a little about the character, reason for the name, etc. My favorite single name is, and I'm gonna butcher this one, Ornthonomor. I use it for a lot of stuff. But my favorite D&D character name is Grimdal Steep Tower. He is a fire genasi conjuration wizard, or you could say genasi, it depends on the person. He had a darker motif with ash-colored skin and blue flames for hair. Flaming blue eyes and pulsing internal fire showing through cracks in his body. Alright, now you go. Our main group was scheduled to meet for D&D, but half the group ended up not being able to make it. It was me, the DM, and 2 other players. We play on Tabletop Simulator and the password for the table is No Murder Hobos. But one of the guys couldn't get logged in that day. He then started laughing when he realized he was typing new, N-U, instead of N-O, no. We started joking around and somehow landed on New Metal Hobos and thought it sounded like a funny band name. Actually, it kind of does. And we suddenly were running a one-shot about our new band, the New Metal Hobos. My character was a blue dragon-born bard named Aki Desai. He played a lead electric mandolin. Our drummer was the Warforged bard named Tabul Pace. And our hype man, because the dingus didn't get the memo that it was supposed to be an all-bard party, even though we told him 3 times, was the lizard folk druid named See Ya Later. Oh my god. Who brought his pet crocodile, After While, along. Oh, I love the puns. Mine was a fox who figured out one day that he could actually become a real human boy and decided his name was the first thing a human ever said to him when he was catching a chicken near their home. As a fox, of course. The human called him Scram. We have a ratkin rogue in one of our games called Scram. Similar backstory, actually. He had a brother named Go On Git that the party had to kill. Also had a sister named Skedaddle. Oh, that's adorable. Kenku Monk, who had a tic of imitating bug noises while in meditation. His name was Cricket or Cricky. Aw, how cute. I've played a number of characters, but I have a few character names I'm particularly proud of. Delkash Valkyrion, my first ever character. An evocation wizard whose name was based on my favorite character from Mass Effect, Garrus Vakarian. Listen, I'm a huge Mass Effect nerd. I'm excited already. Similarly, my warlock I'm currently playing, Lyra Quilthari, has a name based on another Mass Effect character, Liara Tassoni, aka Space Mommy. I don't think you can go wrong with a bald-headed gnome barbarian named Johnson D. Rockfist. In a weird fantasy sci-fi crossover duo campaign that I ran, the player's ship crashed and he had to use the emergency shelter crate on the ship, which essentially was a self-building shelter run by an AI. The shelter's AI was named Shelley. I am Lord of Avarice, Alfredo Miravacchio. A bad guy with an anagrammed alias that obviously has an outrageous fake Hispanic accent. Oh, sort of like Alfredo Miravacchio. A friend of mine played a dwarf named Kick the Door In. Oh, yes. Kick the door in. Yes. I hope the first door he saw, he kicked the damn thing in. I once played a Warforged bard with the soldier background named Major Scale. Warforged strategist this time named Carter Graff. Tabaxi divination wizard named Schrodinger. Oh god, I'm dying. Goliath named Bjorn, who got nicknamed Skinner after harvesting and wearing the pelt of a polar bear. So he's named Bjorn Skinner, because he skinned a bear. Local lawman, hand crossbow master named Brock Holiday. And you daisy if you do. Nicholas Mage, transmutation wizard, famously known for the movie Face Off. Gustavo Wind, the Air Genasi Tempest cleric. Took the GM months to realize it was a gust of wind. Was hilarious when it was revealed. First ever wizard I came up with when I was like 8 years old, many years before using it in any game, was Falumentress, which I decided meant the Light Bringer, for no reason at all. About a decade later, I realized lumen could easily mean light, and Falumentress basically totally sounds like it could mean the Light Bringer, in some made-up language, of course. I was pretty proud of my younger self for having done that completely by accident. Hey, sometimes imagination gets you long ways. A tiefling rogue named Keys. Edit, to include an oft-repeated line, "Rogue? How dare you, sir? I am a reputable locksmith. I'm no thief, I'm a treasure hunter." A kobold named Ripley. He dyed his scales blue and claims to be a dragonborn son of Tiamat with dwarfism. He had mastered the arts of hypnotism and slitting throats while people slept after someone had finished a dangerous, heroic quest. He would take their trophies and proof of completing the quest and take all the credit. Who killed the Lich? Who liberated the town? Who rescued the queen from the despots? Ripley, believe it or not. You motherfucker! Not mine, but a friend of mine, named Orr. I'm kidding. And my favorite name, hands down, from all the time we've played together. A rogue by the name of Bond. Vagabond. I played a Warforged bard named Funk48. When he blew himself up with a Horn of Blasting, he was replaced by Funk49. I actually remember this one from a previous story, and I just kept thinking that at the time when I was recording that, I wanted to do like, WKBN playing Funk 49. Wait, sorry, we just got breaking news. Funk number 50. I had a halfling strength-based fighter. It was a very confusing build and super unoptimized. He had a heavy Italian accent, and he used a rapier. His name was Garbanzo. I thought it was funny, and my stereotypical Italian accent was horrifying. Eventually, my character found a magic item, a spork. It was quite legendary. Great for twirling biscotti. Dip Finnegan Kinowai, I think. God forbid I try to say that one twice. Combination of several of the kids' favorite cartoon characters. I was trying to create a homebrew big bad evil guy who was trying to be a highly feared and infamous wizard. But he kept getting laughed at or would confuse people instead of scaring them when he boldly proclaimed his name. Then he'd just get frustrated and start launching spells, especially if anyone just called him Dip. We had so much fun the first time that I decided to give him some teleport ability to escape and become a recurring character who adventured on his own and leveled up in tandem with the group. After the first session, he gained more of a Professor Doofenshmirtz personality than you normally see in a big bad wizard type. Big Al. He's a big barbarian lizard folk and everyone mistakes him for being a big alligator, so he just goes with it, and it became his name. Come on down to Big Al Barbarian's Lizard Folk Emporium, where I'm gonna crush your skull and go into a rage. Simon Seven Coppers was a real scummy bandit. I liked the theme it laid out for the character. Got one from me, one from my brother. Number 1. Whenever the full party can't make it to session, I run a post-apocalyptic one-shot for the group. The female dwarf mechanic who fixes their flight suits is basically Kaylee from Firefly. Ooh, interesting. She has a walking multi-tool that climbs around her like a squirrel, has washers and bolts braided into her beard, etc. Her name is Acetylene, like acetylene torch without the A. Took the full session for someone to get it. I love that. My brother, number 2, is playing a teddy bear trying to rescue the little girl that owns him. He is a rune knight fighter who turns into an enormous white-furred bear with giant smite. Roar! He talks like a grizzled New York homicide detective. His arc is like if Toy Story met The Wire. His name? Mr. Doubles. A cleric by the name of Sigourney of the Weavers. She's one hell of an actress. A bard named, Richard Swagger. Also, you can just call me Dick. Minel. Pronounced Minel. I got it right. Ha 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 ha. He was one of my first PC characters, and then when I started DMing whenever I didn't have a ready shopkeeper, informant, or whatever, I'd use the gnome Minel. Now he's a mainstay in every campaign and is canonically a time-traveling wizard who likes to make heroes succeed to write best-selling novels based on their exploits for profit. I'm playing a halfling barbarian named Arya Rolling J. Took my DM 2 years to figure out the name. I love her. About half of my characters usually have jokey names. My top 2 were from 5th edition. Feliot Smith, the tiefling bard. If you get the reference, we can be friends. Ooh. Kha'Zix, stung many times? Oh god. Kobold Swarmkeeper Ranger. His swarm manifested as a swarm of bees. Ooh. Took me a second to get that one. Definitely the one I put the most thought into was my Sun Elf Warlock named Ardrand Ellenwest. Though I basically just took Sinardran words and tried to make a neat sounding name. Basically, he really wanted to be a wizard and promised not to accept an adult name until he succeeded. Unfortunately, he just didn't have the magical chops despite studying his ass off. So an archfey made a pact with him to give him power in exchange for gathering magical artifacts and undermining her rivals in the Summer Court. He set off from home to wander the world in service of his patron under the name Ardfrand, a sort of combination of the word Adorn, or world, and Randir, wanderer. The last name is just Starbreeze, because I thought it sounded neat. It's all definitely on the nose and almost certainly not grammatically correct Sindarin, but I like it. A gay fairy fighter named Twinkerbell. E. My Way of the Shadows monk who wanted to become a barbarian, but he can't use any kind of weapons. And so he returned to Monkey. Oh my god. Puff the Magic Dragonborn. Did you know this song makes my dad cry? Because we're all real softies here at the Vaughn family. One of my favorite campaigns I've ever played in, as well as being one of my favorite characters, was Belaine, Saint Lyle, a high elf gloom stalker ranger. We don't see that too often. She was afflicted with a hereditary aberrant disease at birth, spreading a sickly green rash across her skin and sapping her strength and her emotions. Her entire goal in life was to cure her family's affliction, which she investigated by hunting otherworldly creatures throughout the city. She was cured towards the third quarter of the campaign, and I retired her. Still love her, though. Noxus Lowstar was also a cool one. He's a Furbolg Oathbreaker paladin who witnessed the complete murder of his holy order. Ooh, all at the hands of Eladrin warriors. Believing his god to have abandoned him, he let his hate overflow, turning into an Oathbreaker and making it his goal to somehow kill his former deity, as well as any other god that crosses his path. Neutral evil, if it wasn't obvious. Do it. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and to ring that bell so you can get notified when we make another post, or just in case we do go live. And if you want to submit a story or a character name that is really cool that you've come up with, you can do so down in the comments below, or in our subreddit, r/MrRipper. So you want to follow me though too? You can do that. Just look in the description below for the link brianvonva.com and check around for my socials. They're at the bottom. I usually do a lot of stuff on Twitch, but I'm coming back to YouTube in no time. That said, I try to end things on a positive note, and today I want to do something a bit different. I have a lot of fans from, well, the MrRipper YouTube page here, and you guys are slowly starting to find my stuff on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and I'm starting to get a lot of new followers, and one new follower actually just jumped into my Discord personally and gave us a story. So it's a 2-second story, won't take long to read. DJ PK, or Drock, this is for you. He said he wanted to talk about times that you misspoke as a DM and accidentally derailed your own campaign. That's a cool idea to go for. We'll have to bring it up with the next MrRipper meeting. His was actually this. A player met a shady back alley merchant who sold really top quality magical products, magical items for cheap. But they all came with various different curses, and they actually used a custom table to roll on for these curses. As an example, a +1 mithril armor that, on a failed DC 13 stealth check, the armor would actually sing show tunes. Kind of a cool idea. And they met them at a very low level and suffered the consequences if the curse was triggered. However, what I didn't take into account, or the DM, was that the party's cleric later making a huge amount of gold by simply removing the curses and reselling objects to magic shops and blacksmiths. Kind of like a Rick and Morty situation where Rick was fighting the devil. I love stories like this. I love random people coming up to me telling me random short stories. It's really fun and cool, so yeah, I appreciate all of you, and DJ PK, if you're listening in, consider that a little bonus love just from me, Brian Vaughn. All the love, be safe, be happy, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.